Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, I've been feeling a lot better this week. Like, I don't know, kind of the end of last week over this weekend, and then like definitely today I felt a lot better, which I guess is a good thing. So I got a lot of stuff done. I did a few loads of laundry today, got to some dishes. I also, I made dinner for tonight. However, I swear, guys, whenever I go to make chicken noodle soup, something always ends up happening. So I think I shared with you guys like a few, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. We got that rotisserie chicken from Noodle, and I ended up, like, we had it like the one night. Then the next night, my mom ended up making something like chicken and biscuits or something like that, and then I ended up making chicken noodle soup with like the leftovers from that. Like, it went to making like 3 meals, which was really awesome. So you know, we ended up doing that. But I think the time before that I got a rotisserie chicken as well, maybe at like Walmart or something like that, and this was like probably back in maybe November or something. But I'd done like something similar like that, like cooked it, and then we ended up having like chicken noodle soup. Well, I went to go and make the chicken noodle soup, but like to make the broth, and I made it, and you know, all worked out fine and everything, and was planning on like, because normally what I'll do is like we'll eat that like the one night, and then I will take like the leftovers and turn it into the broth the next day. I normally don't like cook the broth and then serve the soup the same day. I normally make the broth and then serve the soup the following day. So, and like, you know, do it with the homemade broth then, and then add like the leftover chicken pieces, and then add like, you know, again, carrots, celery, you know, like all that kind of stuff, right? So I ended up, though, that time completely forgot to put the chicken broth in the soup in the fridge. That night I left it out all night, and I was like, okay, well, now it's bad. So I wasn't able to use it. Today, I didn't forget that. It did go make it in the fridge last night. I had to set a timer to remind myself, though. The problem was I turned off the crock pot, because I normally cook it in the crock pot. Like yesterday, I turned it off, but like it's still too hot. Like, you can't immediately transfer it, because I normally put it in like a pitcher. I can't immediately transfer it and then put it in the fridge. So I have to wait for it to cool down. Well, normally it's that cool down time. Like, I still remember that it's in there, but then when I let it cool is when I forget about it. So I, like, again, I know that's happened to me twice now, where I forget to put the broth in the, you know, in the fridge afterwards after I'm done making it. So again, the last time though, like this, you know, yesterday, I set a timer like for like an hour or something like that afterwards to let it cool down, and then put it in the fridge after that, and it was still really, really warm when I put it in the fridge like yesterday. I did it during the football game, so I think it was like maybe around halftime of the last football game yesterday. So then I was like, okay, so I should know that like by the time the game is over that it probably end up like, you know, putting it in the fridge. So thankfully, again, I remembered, but I did still set a timer. Then today I cooked the chicken noodle soup and everything like that, and it was all good. A little bit before it was done cooking, I went to the kitchen and I unplugged it for a minute because I needed to plug something else into the outlet. So I had unplugged it. This was only like maybe like an hour before it was ready. And it was already like ready, like cooked and everything like that. It was more just like to make sure it was warm still for like dinner. And then normally too, because I use egg noodles, I normally put the egg noodles in like a half an hour, maybe, probably not even that long, maybe like 10-15 minutes, something like that, you know, before the, like, it's, you know, ready to serve. So because they cook really fast, like if the water's, you know, or the broth is already really warm. So like I said, so what I ended up doing, and I had unplugged it, but I completely forgot to ever plug it back in. So then I went and, you know, like put the soup, like the noodles in the soup, and again, completely ended up forgetting that it wasn't plugged back in. I had it on high though, and so I thought like, oh, it's still cooking, like, you know, again, the noodles would be done like, you know, again, 10 minutes or whatever. Well, my mom went and tried it, and she's like, the noodles don't taste good, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to start it again. So I did, and then it only took like, it didn't take that long, like by the time it like fully warmed back up again. It was probably maybe like a half an hour or so, but by that time her and Jack were hungry already, and they had eaten. So like they had salad and stuff like that, but then I was like, yeah, the soup's probably done. So my dad did have some because he was actually at the chiropractor. So by the time he came back home, it was done and ready, but they were ready to eat. And yeah, the soup wasn't ready. So anyways, we're having soup leftovers for tomorrow because my mom I think she ended up making something like frozen, like she threw something frozen in the oven for Jack and herself. And then my dad did have soup when he came back, and Jack said he was gonna have some soup, but then I also made salad to go with it too. Like that's the thing that's so frustrating, because like I went over again too when I added the noodles, I was like, oh, it still feels warm, but like it wasn't like hot, like, and it wasn't like steaming really or anything like that. So I was like, oh, like, you know, like I don't know what I was thinking, like it's just not that hot or whatever. But yeah, it was just not hot because it was not ready at all, and it was not hot enough. But it was only like maybe, like I said, like an hour before, so it had like started cooling down, but it was still really warm. It was just, it wasn't warm enough to like cook the noodles. So yeah, there was that today. But I swear, like I said, it was always something, like we're always never able to almost eat like the chicken noodle soup like the night that like I plan on having it, because something ends up happening. So anyways, yeah, but I do have my meal plan. I had my meal plan set out for this week too. So I also already know like what the plan is, what we're gonna make, you know, all that kind of stuff. And chicken noodle soup was on the list for tonight, and that didn't necessarily happen. So it's probably gonna be for dinner tomorrow or leftovers or whatever, but yeah, that's unfortunate. So anyways though, like I said, that's my another chicken noodle soup story. I think I told you guys maybe when it happened, when I completely forgot. Like I said, this is probably like a month back, and like I completely forgot to put the broth in the fridge overnight, and it wasn't ready, and then it, you know, like, yeah, that just that's one of those things where you're like, oh my gosh. Like, and the thing is too, is that when you work so hard to make something like from scratch like that, like chicken noodle soup, like bone broth soup, you know, kind of thing, it's like, and you work so hard, like you're not using store-bought, you know, broth or anything like that, you know, you're making it all from scratch, and then you again completely end up forgetting about something, or you know, like something like that happens, or it just doesn't turn out or whatever. It's like that one's always, you know, just a little, it's a little bit more difficult when you're trying to do it all the way from scratch like that. But anyways, so yeah, not that the soup's wrong or anything's wrong with it. It was just that I forgot that I'd unplugged it and then forgot to plug it back in. So anyways, I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog though. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see y'all very soon, Jenny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.